Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today I've got a little bit of a collection update to do for you. We got some review titles and some new pickups. Hey everyone, so thanks for coming back to the channel today. Today is going to be a pretty typical collection update. I'll show you some copies I got in from the studios, some recent releases, things that may not get their own review video but I still want to talk about as their physical media releases, as well as new pickups. This time I got a brand new batch of Blu-rays from Hamilton Book, and there's a really cool deal going on there. Again, they have another independent distributor that they're selling titles for, which I'll let you guys in on. Bear with me as I go through this video. I'm fighting some allergies today. My ears are blocked, I'm losing my voice, losing my mind, but I'm doing my best. So we're going to start off with some titles that, were sent to me by studios. And the first one is one that I've already watched and I really liked. And it's from RLJE Films, who is an independent distributor. They pick up a lot of kind of odd titles, indie titles that maybe you haven't heard of. But this one is actually a Shudder original series, and it's called Cursed Films. And what this explores is basically different stories behind, cursed horror movies. Poltergeist, The Omen, The Exorcist, The Crow, and Twilight Zone, the movie. There's a lot of bad, kind of creepy, scary things that happen behind the scenes in all of these movies, or things that happen to the actors, cast, and crew after the movies or during the movies while they were being shot. So it's a really interesting look into some some really interesting paranormal stuff almost, and it's directly related to horror movies, which I love. So I really liked this. It is creepy, it's a little disturbing at times. It's definitely not a happy watch, but it was cool. Now, also got this and 47 Ronin. This is the Best Buy exclusive steelbook. I guess there were some big delays on this, but it is available starting tomorrow, September 1st at Best Buy. I will be checking this out on 4K since I haven't yet, but I wanted to show you guys this. I got this from High Def Ninja, so props to them for continuing to support the channel. But that is definitely coming. I know there was a lot of delays on that and the Hulk steelbook, but they're both on their way. Now I have another one from RLJE Films, which is also a Shudder original, and it's called Z. And the basic synopsis of this is this woman's son brings home an imaginary friend named Z, and she medicates him. She tries to help him out because he's being disruptive. He's blaming this character Z on all of his troubles, and she's basically like, he gets kicked out of school. She's trying to figure out what's going on, and then she starts seeing him. So it's a kind of creepy, really interesting horror movie, indie horror, the kind of stuff that I really like. But RLJE Films covered that one as well. And then in from Warner Brothers, I got Deep Blue Sea 3. So at the same time they're doing The Goonies and Beetlejuice and other great 4K restorations, apparently Deep Blue Sea still has sequels coming out. I don't expect much from this one, but as a Jaws fan, I do have a soft spot for any movies involving killer sharks. So this is a series that I actually keep up with, and as goofy as it is, I have some fun with these movies. And now from Universal, I've got The King of Staten Island. This was like one of the first pandemic movies, because this was supposed to come out over the summer, and rather than pushing it back, what they did was they released it digitally, and it was available digitally for a long time. Judd Apatow is quoted as saying he didn't want this to skip by the pandemic because it has a lot of themes talking about loss, talking about mental health, a lot of things that could actually help people by watching this movie during the pandemic. And I watched it. I really liked this. I like Judd Apatow stuff. I like Pete Davidson and his story. And this centers around Pete Davidson, and it's sort of a fictional take on his life. His dad being a firefighter who died on 9/11 in real life. In this movie, he kind of just dies in a fire. They don't really get into what it was, but it also stars Marissa Tomei. It stars Bill Burr. It has Maude Apatow, Judd Apatow's daughter, who's actually really great in this. So it has a really good cast. It's an interesting story. It's very funny at times. It's kind of heartbreaking and sad at times, and it takes a really hard look at mental illness and family dynamics and how you can kind of overcome that. And it's almost like a romance between Pete Davidson and Bill Burr, who's going to be his new, stepfather, his mom's new boyfriend. And it's kind of like a weird bromance movie in that way, but it's actually really well done. I really liked it. And the last one I got in from review is from Lionsgate, and this is an AMC movie, not AMC the movie theaters, but AMC the subscription channel, cable channel, and it's The Terror Season 2. This is The Terror Infamy. Now, Infamy takes place during World War II, actually on Southern California. I don't know if they're in internment camps or what's happening, but there's basically like this Japanese folklore, this Japanese ghost. Kind of think like The Grudge, which Japan has so many cool like folklore and myths and legends and stories, just amazing stuff for horror to build off of. And that's what they've done here. They've kind of built off of one of those stories, but set it during World War II in the Japanese communities in California, where obviously there's a lot of racism and stuff going on because of Pearl Harbor. So it gives you an interesting look at history as well. So it's a really good show and I recommend it. Now diving into my Hamilton book pickups, the first one I got is a sequel to a horror movie which I really liked. I don't know what to expect from the second one here, but I got Happy Death Day to You. This came with this slipcover, which I found out as I was adding it to my collection. This is actually a Best Buy exclusive. So that's the cool thing about Hamilton Book. Sometimes they get these exclusives and things that, you may not even see on shelves anymore, and all of a sudden it shows up at Hamilton Book. So Happy Death Day to You. I liked the first one a lot. I want to check out the second one. This slipcover is actually awesome, and it's brand new, as is everything with Hamilton Book. I get that question a lot. Their prices are so cheap. Are these used movies? Are they new? They're all brand new factory sealed movies. Happy Death Day to You even came with a slipcover, which you will get in odd chances. So that was a really cool pickup. And then as a Patriots fan, this was an awesome one because these are expensive. I got the Super Bowl 53 Champions Blu-ray. These are actually, they used to be Shout Factory. Who does them now? Cinedigm? But Shout Factory used to do them, but these cost a lot of money. These are like $25-30 when they come out. And it's basically just like a breakdown of the season, and it goes over some of the season's best moments, goes through the Super Bowl. I have all of them for every sports championship that the Boston teams I support have won. Even some of the rare ones like the Celtics 2008 Blu-ray, the Boston Bruins 2011 Stanley Cup, and all of the Patriots DVDs and Blu-rays. This was the last one I needed. Hamilton had it for $5. That's a great deal. They also had Super Bowl 51 and 52. So if you're interested in those, Hamilton Book has your deals on them right now. And the next one is another horror movie I picked up for $4 from Hamilton Book. It's Willow Creek. This is kind of an interesting, like, found footage, almost Bigfoot type movie. So the synopsis immediately intrigued me. And then I saw that it was written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. I actually like him a lot, interestingly enough. I've actually sat next to him during a film festival before. I didn't make a big deal out of it and geek out, but I was at the Boston Independent Film Festival, which plays at the Somerville Theater. It's a pretty big deal, but he comes every year, and most of his movies do screen at the film festival when he has them. And I was actually at a screening of Eugene Merman, who does the voice of Gene from Bob's Burgers and is also a very famous stand-up comedian. He had a documentary during the film festival. Bobcat was there. He ended up sitting right next to me in the theater, just totally by chance. Eugene was sitting a couple seats over from him. I got to meet Eugene, but Bobcat came in late. So, he's a super cool guy. He makes some interesting, weird movies, but I usually like them. And so I wanted to pick this up, one I didn't have in my collection and I really needed. And then the last one, this is where it got really interesting on Hamilton, and I probably could have gone crazy, but I budgeted myself, which is always a smart thing to do as a collector. But I got the Big Fix, Richard Dreyfuss. This is kind of an interesting movie because it was post-Jaws. It was a few years after Jaws. It's kind of like a neo-noir. Richard Dreyfuss is like this private eye. He's investigating this candidate running for governor of California. It's a cool movie. I like Richard Dreyfuss mostly because I really like him in Jaws, and so I like his other movies. And The Big Fix is, you'd say, oh, nothing special. It's a pretty standard catalog title from Universal. But what makes this special is that it's a Twilight Time release. And if you don't know Twilight Time, they are an independent distributor who recently sold to Screen Archives, actually. They were going to go out of business. They sold their whole business and catalog to Screen Archives, so they're staying in business. but their business model is limited edition releases. So the big fix, there's only 3,000 of these that they pressed. That's it. Once the 3,000 sell out, you don't get any more. That's their business model. They drive on limited edition releases. Now, I don't love their business model because a lot of times what happens is titles like Philadelphia is a classic one that was out of print for years. Twilight Time owned the rights. It was selling for $100 on eBay. Then the rights go back to Sony and they put out a 4K release. You can get it for $15. So it's one of those where it's like, don't spend the money on crazy out of print releases, especially if it's a popular title. 1984 is another one, sold for a ton of money. Get it on Criterion now for 20 bucks, right? So you just don't want to go crazy. I don't love limited edition because it drives the reseller market and it drives those prices up. But this was only $8. At that price point, it's a great deal. And Hamilton had a ton of other Twilight Time movies on sale for under $10, which is a great price for those movies. They rarely drop under that until they're really trying to get rid of stock. They might sell for $7 or $8 and then they're gone. So I would highly recommend checking out Hamilton Book for the Twilight Time stuff. If you like those movies and you're a collector of them, they are still limited editions, but Hamilton got their hands on a bunch of overstock from somebody or somewhere, and they have all kinds of new titles listed. I want to say there were like 20 to 30 new Twilight Time titles. So if you're a collector of those, go check out Hamilton Book. Highly recommend them. Again, they're not sponsoring this video or anything. They're just one of my favorite places to buy new Blu-rays from in physical media because they have such an eclectic catalog and they get really cool stuff like Twilight Time titles, Best Buy exclusive slipcovers. Last time they had all those Draft House Films movies that I picked up. So they get such cool stuff, and that's why I support them. So that's it for the pickups today. Hopefully that gives you some inspiration, lets you know about some new things that are coming out, and let you know about those Hamilton Book sales. I'll leave a link to Hamilton Book down in the description. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on, and check out all the other links down in my description for ways you can support me and our support of physical media going forward as I try to grow this channel and grow the physical media community. So thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.